Hi guys, and welcome to the second episode of Chaps Chats. Today we'll be getting to know the captains of our senior section. My guests today are first team captain Brian Quill, women's captain Jessica Kickham, seconds captain Ronan O'Mara, and under 20s captain Patrick Perham. I hope you enjoy it and it helps you become more familiar with who represents Wanderers FC at senior level. So, Paddy Perham, our under 20s captain we have here today. Thanks for joining us.
Oh, bother.
Now, just a few questions for you. Hope they won't be too heavy. So just I have you on here early, as I know you're a busy college student as well as our under 20s captain. So
Exactly. Yeah.
I'm just gonna have you as the center of attention now. So Paddy, just my first question would be to just for the guys to get to know a bit about your background is in rugby and as well as a Wanderers member.
Yeah.
Where did you first start playing rugby, and at what age did you start playing?
So I first started playing rugby probably when I was around 8 or 9 years of age at my dad's old club, Monksane Rugby Club, for probably 3 or 4 years, and then I moved then to the main club Wanderers now. Then
I love how you use the word main club there now.
yeah, it is
So
the
that's
main
good.
club.
Okay, so give us an idea of like who you've played for, like club, school wise. Who have you played for in that regard?
So I started playing. So I went to St Andrews College in secondary school. So I started playing for them first year up through sixth year, like in junior teams and senior cup teams. And then in second year of secondary school, I decided to move then to Wanderers and play there as well. And that's like we had a few really good seasons there. It was good crack, and I really got like me personally got quite invested in the club, like because it's quite a nice, obviously a very nice setup. Everyone in the club is very friendly, and yeah, it was just a good standard of ball. So I played Andrews, and then I played club, and currently now I'm just playing under 20s at the moment.
Good. So what do you love most or like most about rugby, like on and off the field?
Off the field, it'd have to be like the friendships you'd make and just the crack off the pitch, like after a game or something. No matter if you're win or lose, you'll most likely have crack. For like the night after and then the few days after in training, it's always good fun with the lads. Then on the pitch, obviously winning is good crack, and just the whole physical aspect of it, like it's a good blowout, and yeah.
Okay. Just give us an idea. What position do you play?
I played back row, preferably open side back row. But I remember back in secondary school, I was playing in fifth year, and we had a few injuries in centre for the senior team, and because I was one of the only forwards that actually could catch a ball, like they decided to fling me in there for a game, and the coach liked me there, so I played a year in centre, and then in sixth year went back to back row because we were light on back rows.
Would you consider yourself a bit of a hybrid?
Yeah, like I'm basically I take to any position.
Just give us an idea as well, like what position would you love to play? Like, would you have loved to play if you were younger again? And would you love to go back and try and start playing in that position?
I think either a scrum half, because all you have to do is run around the pitch and pass the ball, or an out half, because generally they're prima donnas who get all the fame and glory. Like,
I know scrum halves. That's not all we do. That's not all
I think it's up there with all they do. Like that, and then just talk back to the ref. That's about it.
True. So, and just the last question I have for you really is what would be your favorite memory of playing rugby, like either on the pitch or off the pitch, or even both?
Favorite memory would probably be like I have a club one, which would be with Wanderers. We won at I think it was under 15s, under 16s, or maybe under 14s. We won a good few cups, and that was really good. Like getting kind of a winning streaks going, and then obviously winning the cups and big games and finals with actually a sizable crowd and watching. And then probably school wise, it would have to be senior cup, like because you'd be playing in Donnybrook with a big crowd watching, and it was quite intense, really good atmosphere. So like that was probably the best part, I think.
Good. Well, Paddy, thanks for giving us a bit of an insight into your background, and thanks very much for coming on. I know you as being one of your coaches with the under 20s, but it's really good for everyone to get to know who will be potentially representing the club in future years. And thanks very much for coming on.
Yeah, no bother. Cheers. Thanks a lot.
have Ronan O'Mara with us next, the seconds team captain of Wanderers. How are you getting on, Ronan?
Very good. And yourself, Jer?
I'm not too bad, not too bad. Thanks for coming on today. So, just to kind of get the guys to get to know you a little bit, first question I have for you is, when did you first start playing rugby, and at what age?
So first started playing rugby, actually down in Lansdowne, FC, at the age of 5 or 6. So in the mini rugby section there, from the under 6s up to the under 12s. And then after that, would have moved over to Wanderers around the kind of under 14s and 15s stage, and I've been there ever since. So approaching probably close to my kind of 20th year now of membership and playing in Wanderers.
Oh, great. Lot of very lengthy career so far. So kind of leading into, you kind of covered a little bit of the second question is, where and who have you played for? Have you played for any other clubs apart from obviously Lansdowne and Wanderers, or have you played abroad or anything like that?
No, look, been pretty much played my whole life a little bit in Lansdowne, and then the majority in Wanderers. Apart from a couple of brief stints away studying in Germany, played a couple months over there. But apart from that, been a fairly long servant to Wanderers.
Okay, proper club man. So just what position do you play?
I am a prop. I would have started off as a second row, and then at some stage in my late teens, I was kind of pushed into the front row, and I've been there ever since.
So, is there any position you kind of would have loved to have played, or if you, when you went back younger, try and get into?
Well, like I do fancy myself as a bit of a out half anyway. So there are times when I would try and slot into the pocket anyway, during games, but I try and keep to the front row as much as possible.
The old saying goes, "There's an out half inside of every prop."
Absolutely.
What just to kind of go into, what would be your favorite memory of rugby, or for playing or hanging out with your teammates?
It's tough because there's been so many great moments in my lifetime playing rugby. If I was to pick one example, it was a couple of seasons ago, the seconds team would have won a league and cup double. It would have happened within a couple of weeks of each other, maybe within 2 or 3 weeks of each other. So that kind of sticks out as a very kind of special time where we're kind of riding the crest of a wave of just being very successful, winning match after match, building towards a league win and then a cup win. So there were some really great nights out around that time, followed by captain's dinners in the clubhouse, and that kind of sticks out as a very special period going back maybe about 3 or 4 years ago.
Oh, great! And just lastly, what do you love most about rugby, both on the pitch and off the pitch?
In terms of on the pitch, obviously it's the camaraderie with your teammates, winning, everyone having the same kind of common goal of winning a league or a cup or trophy, whatever it is. It's being outdoors, getting exercise. The list is kind of it's endless, And then in terms of off the pitch, it's those moments with your mates, be it after a win that you've worked hard for, whether it's in the huddle on the pitch, or in the dressing room afterwards, or on a bus trip home, or in the clubhouse. It's those moments that make it all worthwhile.
Great. Well, Ronan, thanks very much for giving us an insight into your background and your playing life. And hopefully we get as many of the guys up to the seconds games as well when we come back from the lockdowns. Thanks very much.
Absolutely. You're welcome. Cheers.
So we have up next now Jess Kickham, the women's captain, sorry. Nice to meet you. It's my first time actually getting to talk to a few of the women's players because didn't really get much of a chance with the whole lockdown situation. So my first question would be for you is, when did you start playing rugby and at what age?
Yeah, sure. I started when I was in school. I would have been in secondary school down in Dingle, about 16 years old. We were a basketball school, and I'm about 5'4", so that didn't really work well for me. So rugby was introduced into the school when I was in 5th year, and I loved it straight away.
Ah, that was great to hear. Yeah, the old, I'm in the similar position. The old, I did not transfer over to basketball for myself or for Gaelic football. So, 5'9" scrum half over here. Who would you have played for club wise and for school? I guess as you said there, you played in school.
I did, yeah. So I started down in Cloughlida, playing with the school for about 2 years, and then I stopped. So I didn't play in college, and then I played for a couple of years in Enniscorthy with the Enniscorthy Panthers, until that team struggled a bit. Like a lot of female teams can struggle um, with the senior teams, so that team fell apart after a couple of years. And then I joined Wanderers 5 years ago now, I think. Never looked back.
And so you're enjoying your time here so far. So just what position do you play currently?
I'm scrum half.
There we go. See, the brains of the outfit. That's all we are. And have you played any other position, or would you have loved to play any other position before you got kind of pigeonholed in the scrum half like myself?
Well, I started at 9 and moved around a bit. Like any back, I've played everywhere in the backs. But scrum half is where
Do you ever get a crack
I
at it? Would you have loved to have a crack at any of the in the positions of the forwards?
No. Most of the scrum is as close as I want to be.
Same as me. I prefer to play the flashy style of rugby instead of doing the hard work. What do you love most about playing rugby on and off the pitch?
It has to be the friendships that you get through playing rugby. I know it's cliche, but it's absolutely true from my experience of playing, especially playing with Wanderers. And I think what you get from that on the pitch is, your teammates are like your second family, and we always show up for each other. So even when it's piss and rain, or we've had training in the snow, the girls are going to show up. And it's those days where you really don't want to go, where you don't want to talk to anyone or see anyone or have a productive training session. They're the times that I've really benefited from rugby, and the motivation of having a team and others expecting you to be there. So that showing up and that support that you get from teammates. And I definitely always feel better leaving Marion Road than I did showing up, especially on those days when you really don't want to turn up.
Yeah, I totally agree with myself. Like, it's just, they get you, your teammates just kind of get you into the thing faster than you would actually think, and get you kind of up out of the house rather than just sitting there moping around. And just lastly, what would be your favorite memory of playing or even hanging out with the teammates after a match?
Sure. There are lots that I won't mention, from tours and post-match Sunday sessions. I get myself in trouble, but sticking with rugby, there are two that I'll mention. Firstly, I have to say the commemorative match with Trinity in the Aviva was just something that I never expected to get to experience in my rugby career, or anyone on the team. We're a development women's team, so that was a fantastic opportunity that we got, from the buzz with the girls in the changing rooms to seeing my nieces and nephews in the stands with their little signs. So that was an amazing experience all around, even though it was a loss. But, the other, so from the best pitch I probably played on to the worst pitch I played on, I won't mention which club, but it was in Wexford with Wanderers. It was about 3 years ago. We played on a pitch that was unplayable, and nobody was getting any breaks. We were muck up to our knees. It had been raining for 2 weeks, and just the crack that we had trying to get people down on the ground, and you couldn't tell the two teams apart. We were head to toe covered in muck, and it was just a really light-hearted, great day of rugby, even though it wasn't. But we won that one, so they're my two takeaways.
Some of the best rugby matches I've ever played have been in the muck, so I completely agree with you. That way, the fast fellas aren't as quick, and you can catch them fairly easy, and no one can sidestep, and no one has the best hands on the pitch. So, completely agree there. So, Jess, thanks very much for letting us get to know you as well. So, like, it really, especially good from a women's point of view. Like, one of the aims I'll be looking to do is get as many young girls coming up playing rugby, and it'll be great to have role models like yourself and Alice for the girls to look up to when they come into the mini and youth section, so they can aspire to get up to the women's senior team when they get older. And it's great to have you at the club, and you've been here longer than me, and I feel the exact same way, that Wanderers just a very welcoming club myself. So, so is there any kind of even position specific for each of you? Would there be anything like you would tell a little kid in the same position as you what to train a bit for a little bit on their own, or even just a little skills challenge they could do?
Something that basically all young boys and girls should do if they're playing rugby is try and practice passing off their bad hand. So if you're right-handed, your left hand is there for your weak hand, and try and practice 50 passes off your weak hand every time you're out with the ball, and that'll pay dividends then as you get older.
And Jess, yourself?
Yeah, so one for me, obviously, as a scrum half, fitness is key. We never stop running, so a little burpee challenge. The perfect burpee takes 3 seconds, so we should be able to, on our best form, do 20 in a minute. So a challenge is to try and get anywhere from 15 to 20, especially as soon as we're not out team training at the minute, so just some individual fitness.
Oh, I love a bit of skills mixed with fitness. My favorite kind of thing. So, guys, listen, thanks very much for doing this today, and hopefully I get to see you when the lockdown is all over playing. So, guys, now we have our first team captain, Brian Quill, more well known as Quilly by the rest of us. Great to have you. Thanks for joining me.
Yeah, thanks for having me. Yeah,
I'm going to make you the center of attention here now, so all eyes are on you. So.
Yeah, love that.
No, right. So my first question, so the guys get to know you a bit more, is when did you first start playing rugby, and at what age?
Yeah, so I would have started playing rugby in for y'all at about, I'd say, maybe 4 years of age. Pretty young, but my cousins and brother were a little older, and my dad was president in y'all at the time, so started getting me playing as early as possible. Didn't really have much idea of what I was doing. I was mainly just running around and enjoying being out with the guys. So yeah, started playing about four years old down in y'all. So yeah.
They start them young down in Munster, they do.
yeah. No, it was not all smooth sailing either. I actually started playing as a winger because I wasn't the greatest player, so they stuck me out on the wing, and then all my friends were on the first team and I was on the second team, which made it a lot less fun. But stick to it and
do it. There you go.
Get there.
So as you said, you're originally from Youghal. Where and who have you played for? So, like, have you played for any other clubs apart from Wanderers and Youghal, or have you played abroad or anything like that?
No, unfortunately not. So I played in Youghal up until went to school, and then went to Midland College, which not exactly a giant of schools rugby, but yeah, we played in the B Schools Cup and things like that. So played at them for all the school, and then after leaving school went to UCC, which was great fun. So played at UCC under 20s, and senior there, was captain there in my final year, and then we went following college, went to Dolphin for 1 season, and then went to Wanderers, and so unfortunately never got to go abroad and see a different side of things, but not happy with the clubs that I've played with so far.
Sure, you're young enough to still get abroad, don't worry.
I don't know, body.
So
probably not as a player anyway.
So what position do you play?
Kind of mix between second row and number 6. So in between the two of those, depending on who's available and who we're playing against, I suppose, So happy to have that versatility.
Yeah, well, listen, as far as I'm concerned, the second rows and back rows are the ones who do all the dog work. So.
Well, yeah, I'm a short second row and a slow number 6, so I suppose it's in between. I'm in between.
What position would you have loved to have played? Is there any? Is there an inner centre or an out half inside the big second row?
Well, as I said, I was like played on the wing in underage, but yeah, then started growing. But yeah, looking back, what position would be the most fun would probably be a scrum half. But it was kind of when I was starting picking a position, Mike Phillips wasn't quite there yet, so we only went with short people who were scrum halves, because Peter Stringer being the example. So so I think scrum half would probably be the most fun position. If I could go back and be a lot quicker and more skillful, that's the position I'd like to do. But for now, or with the body I have, I suppose second row or number 6 is all I can do.
Now you say that, but when you have lads about your size who are playing 6 and 7, going after you every 2 minutes, scrum half isn't as nice as you think.
Yeah, true.
So just kind of give us an idea of what you love most about playing rugby, both on and off the pitch.
I suppose on the pitch, the physicality of it, I suppose, the contact, is, what you like about it, what I like about it, I suppose. In the position of second row, number 6, tackling and carrying is probably the most fun to me. And then off the pitch, then I suppose just the friends you make and the I suppose the nights out and things like that afterwards, that's definitely the most fun. I think that's the best part of rugby anyways, is the friends and the nights out and a few drinks that you get after games,
Yeah, I definitely agree. That's been the most consistent answer across the board from everyone so far, which I would totally agree with. And what would be your favourite memory of playing rugby, both either on the pitch or even hanging out with your teammates?
Favorite moments. I think in UCC we won the All Ireland in under 20s, which was great fun, a great group of lads. A good few of the lads actually ended up playing in Wanderers. So yeah, going back to we started playing. We won that under 20s game, and then a good few, including like Owen Dennehy, Joe Holland, a couple of others, joined Wanderers then, and we ended up in my first year in Wanderers, got promoted from 2C to 2B, and the night and the following day of celebrations was probably the highlight of my rugby career. It was a really good time. Harley had us over to his house for the following day, and we celebrated as if we won the World Cup, But hopefully get to do something like that again.
Hopefully, because I know you were on the verge of getting up to 2A this year.
It was disappointing. Like, things were going really well this year, last season, and then the start of this year, things are going really well. So
yeah,
it's kind of hopefully we hit the ground running again when we do eventually get to play again.
Yeah, I'm sure you will, because myself knowing most of the lads off the first team, you are a very good core squad, and you do play very well alongside each other. So, just on just to finish up, for any aspiring young back rowers or second rowers coming up, have you got any maybe tips or even skills that you would have practiced as a kid to kind of try and get yourself ready?
Well, in terms of I suppose if I'm to look back, and we started doing Pilates here in Wanderers now once a week, which is great. And I'm not in the slightest bit flexible. And I think if I was to, give advice to any player and wants to play long term, and I did play at huge, really high levels, but I think like to prevent against injury and have a longer playing career and to maximize your ability to perform is to be as flexible as possible. So I think taking up something like Pilates, even if it's once a week, I know it's, it may not be what any kid thinks of. Kids probably think about wanting to be as big as strong as possible, but I think having a strong core and a flexible body would be some really good advice to do. I don't know if you have access to the Pilates class that Wanderers lay on once a week, but yeah, they're available on YouTube anyway. Like any kind of, you could do that at the moment at home, just a kind of a Pilates or yoga class and just get as flexible as possible. At the moment, I can barely put my socks on. Certainly after a game, I'm struggling to do that. So I think life would be a lot easier if I was more flexible. Sure.
Definitely, like I'm sure we can get Lukey to come up with something, or even try and see if we get the youth coaches and the minis all kind of involved. But yeah, man, thanks very much for coming on with us and giving us an insight into your background from all the way when you started all the way up to now. And hopefully we get back to playing matches and we get all the guys out to see the first team play along with the seconds and under 20. So thanks very much, Brian.
Hopefully. Yeah, thanks for having me. Thanks.
Cheers.
Take care.